Good morning, Sharon, and happy International Women's Day.
Good morning, Wendy. Happy International Women's Day. Oh my goodness, it's a lovely Wednesday here, and it's interesting because each year I keep saying since I've been out of the corporate world that I'm going to go and celebrate an International Day event, and I still haven't got there yet. So, but always in my thoughts, always in my energy.
Yeah, yep. And yeah, I know that there's a lot of I've seen this morning already that there's some corporate places that are doing lunches and that kind of thing, which is lovely.
Yeah, I used to always organise a table of 10 people. It was great.
Yeah. I haven't seen any, like I don't look either, but I haven't seen any of the major functions that used to be. And I think that all changed with what's happened in the last few years.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
Before then, it was like a great big celebration, and
well, there was breakfast and there was lunch and sometimes there was dinners.
Yeah,
so it was great.
And awards. They used to have
yes,
award
absolutely.
dinners.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll see all that all coming back anyway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it doesn't matter to for all the bright and shining lights to celebrate International Women's Day. I think it's something that in a subtle way we all celebrate it every day anyway.
Totally. I don't need a day to recognise it, but we do need a day to recognise all of those that aren't, what would I say, that are not as fortunate as me.
Yeah,
I totally get that. And I'm also about the equity side of it, where it's not about making it equal for everybody, because not everybody starts at the same place. And so it's about making sure that you and I can start together, but we both have the tools that both of us need, which will be very different to each other.
Yeah. Yep. And it's about being, well, I think it's celebrating from the woman who chooses to be a full-time mum to that corporate executive or that entrepreneur or, that professor, whoever it is. But it's celebrating, it's in gratitude of being a woman. And now, isn't that being challenged right now? Like,
yes.
And never more so than now, we need to be able to celebrate being a woman and being grateful for being a woman. I have to say, we are absolutely unique species.
Yes.
Well,
without us, there wouldn't be reproduction. There
wouldn't be life.
They could create a sperm, but they can't mechanically create a baby.
No, not. I mean, we say that in jest. Because
do you know what I mean?
In all honesty, there's two genders, and one is a woman, and that woman, the woman's role is to reproduce and nurture, or the female role, and that is whether it's a dog or a cow or whatever it is. It's still that role of a mother that they still play.
Yes, and whether you're a mother or not a mother, and you're still a woman.
Yeah, exactly.
You're still important. You're still beautiful. You're still amazing, and that's what today is about, recognising.
Yeah. Yep. It's celebrating the fact that we are like this. Have a look at what women can do. Have a look at what women have done, and have a look at what we bring to the table. Like, there's, whether it be that your focus is not on that family thing, it's on more of the career thing, or if it's just generally in recreational, we're very capable.
We need women from all backgrounds and all experiences to create the amazing women race that we are. And when I today, when I was reflecting on this and just thinking about, my mum and her mum and my sisters, and now obviously my daughters and my granddaughter, and just how the generations have changed so much. And I look at my girls and see how strong they are now, which is wonderful. I thought I was strong, but they're even stronger. And my granddaughter, I know she's going to be even stronger again.
Yeah.
And so everything that our ancestors have fought for rights of women, and it wasn't equal rights. It's actually about the rights for us to have what suits us, to be able to get what we need, to do what we need to do.
Yeah. Yep.
And so we can all be incredible and amazing. We are. We just sometimes have to waken that up within.
Yeah. Yep. And be grateful for the fact that we are born a woman. You know, and
I'm so grateful to be here in this life, in this time.
Yep.
Not just with being a woman, but everything else that's going on.
Yeah. Well, you have a look at, I have a look back on, mum, for instance, dad would have been 99 this week.
Oh, wow.
Or last week. So my parents were aged. I was a young, like a late baby. And, but I have a look at, it, when mum used to talk about the things that they used to do and the things that they're, but they never entertained this disparity. Like,
no.
The men had their role, the women had their role, and they complemented one another. Like, the men would chop wood, the women would look after the home and the children, and but by the same token, when I come from not a very affluent family, so when mum and dad first had their house and a storm came, it didn't care whether it was dad or whether it was mum, they were still with their hands up to hold the walls up.
That's right, exactly. And I think that's what I was lucky about too, Wendy.
Yeah.
My parents were a team. My dad cooked, my dad cleaned, my dad washed, my dad did ironing, my mum did other stuff too. Like my dad, he showed me as a woman that just because he was a man didn't mean that he didn't do what I did as well.
Yeah. Yep.
And I married a man the same, so that's great.
Yeah, and I've got one of those too. It's about the relationship is about mutual respect. And I think that something that if we base everything on mutual respect, what a different world we would have.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. But it's, we need to be aware that as women that our roles aren't being eroded. There's such a focus on equity as, International Women's Day. It's about, we want the same wages and we want this and we want that. But how about we get back to the grassroots and we say, you know what? We want to be able to be called mum. We want to be able to say that we breastfeed. We want to be able to know that we have a place that we don't have to be that gung-ho, I have to get all of that stuff down. It's okay to be in your feminine and allow the masculine, the man, and what we need now is a masculine man that is going to be able to do the hunter-gatherer, because that's what we have always been, and there's nothing nicer for a woman to have a man, a strong man, to gather you in his arms and give you that hug. I can tell you that is, and to respect the fact that I can give birth and he can't, that I have given, I've juggled motherhood and my career, and he has, he's supported me, but he's also witnessed it. And all those things that they can be in awe of us. Because there is an eroding, and we are allowed to have sports that should only be for women. We should have the ability to be able to be confident that when we go and do something and we can be in that space without consistently being challenged. It is about, let's celebrate being a woman. Let's be grateful that we are women.
And understanding the freedom and embracing that as well, because, you mentioned you can breastfeed, but it's okay not to. It's okay not to. It's okay to be the woman that goes out to work and the husband stays at home and looks after the children. It's whatever works for you.
Yeah, but I was getting more to the, you know what, I'm a breastfeeder. I'm not a chest feeder. That's where I was going with that.
I don't know what you mean by that.
Well, that's the politically correct term now, is you can't say that you breastfeed. You got to say that you're a chest feeder.
What?
Yeah, it's bullshit. Absolute bullshit. And
I've not heard
this
that,
is,
so I'm glad I haven't heard that.
and that's why this year is probably the most avid and supportive I've been of International Women's Day, because before, even in my corporate role, I would always call bullshit on the fact that there was this inequity, because I didn't see it. I didn't experience that. You know, I do believe that there are roles where women excel and there are roles where men excel.
It's about the capability. It boils down to the capability, doesn't it? I mean, I've watched one of my daughters in roles and doing more than men, and yet they get paid more. And we've had those discussions many times, how we've talked about what she's doing and what she's not. Thankfully, I personally haven't been in that position, but I certainly encourage her to always value her worth, whatever she's doing, and if not, walk away from it, go somewhere else. Someone will value your worth.
Absolutely, they will. Yep, absolutely, they will. And if it is, on a monetary scale, then, I certainly have not experienced that, and I've been one of the lucky ones, I guess. But
yeah, me too.
Pardon me, but even with my daughter, like, it's, in her role, the one that I see as being really disadvantaged, and that's my son. And that's because there's, it's we get tied up between whether it's a sex thing, but really it's an ego thing. Because
it's actually about ability. It's what are your abilities? But
the disparity is about ego. It's about someone wanting to elevate themselves more than and
totally.
Trying to control or take ownership and not ever, and that's because they feel threatened. That comes from a state of fear. And
sadly, that happens from women to women.
Oh, it does, doesn't it?
It really does. And that is something I've very much experienced in the workplace, where women beating their chests, seeing if they can beat louder than anybody, where men or women, they were, up on their pedestal, proving their worth. And I mean, I'm probably up on my pedestal right now, but
we're just chatting.
but it is. It's about the respect for other women around you as well. That's we live in a very lucky country, you and I, and we both admit that, and we both acknowledge that we're in very good relationships where we have very supportive husbands, and there's a lot of people out there that don't enjoy the luxury that we have. I mean, which should be normal. That's
right. But in saying that too, what you said, we are in a very different world here. I'm having a look at some stuff that's happening over in Iran, where girls are being carted out of schools because they've been poisoned there. Girls have been put in jail. You're being incarcerated for what for? For what they, how they dress. Now, if we have a look, who's actually making those rules? Because if we go back to go and search Iran in the 1970s and have a look at the dress then, and then have a look at the dress now and see exactly who's ruling the roost and who's causing all of this mayhem, because they're the people that are the evildoers, and they've brought about change that affects women. And so International Women's Day, celebrating worldwide, is about recognizing all of those other cultures as well.
Absolutely, because as we know, in the Western world's and not all of us, I know there's a lot of you out there even that are struggling and that aren't in those kind of environments that are conducive to you having a great life. But when we do look at some of the other countries, yes, there's a lot of people that really are struggling with just being a woman.
Yeah. And I know that, for anyone who's listening here, I think, and you said, you know, like how we are, but I think that's about self-acceptance, and that's about standing in your own power, and that's about how much work you're prepared to do. And so the more work you do, the more confident
Absolutely.
you become, the different posture you have, you command, the different boundaries you have, you command then how you're treated.
Absolutely, yes. And as you and I both know, we wouldn't be with people, we wouldn't surround ourselves with people that didn't treat us poorly, that didn't treat us, you know, the way we deserve.
Yeah, exactly. But it all comes down to that one thing, doesn't it? That's really, you know, loving and accepting of yourself, and that can be, you know,
that's a challenge in itself for many women.
Yeah. Yep.
They've either not grown up with knowing that they are deserving or they're enough. And that comes from all cultures and all backgrounds.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, we can touch on it now. We're in times of, and I know the last few years have been heavy into domestic violence. I know that we had our leadership here in Brisbane only at the end of last month, and we packed bags for a group which was something with destiny. I can't think of the name of it, but it's for setting up homes for domestic women, you know, when they're getting out of environments. But when you have a look at the fact that we've got how much is the family unit been absolutely annihilated? You know, we've got heavy reliance on, I don't think we've ever had the amount of substance abuse that we've got right now. We've got alcohol abuse, we've got, you know, men are being challenged on all levels, and not to say that it's okay, but this is a societal thing. This is like, this is a whole reactive thing, and we need to stop with that reaction. You know, we need to get back into what the core values are, and that is about that mutual respect, and that's what's missing.
Yes.
So
and unfortunately, as we know, the work we do, that mutual respect isn't there if you don't respect yourself first.
Yeah, you've got to.
You've got to find a space where you can love and respect who you are, not in an egotistical way, but in a way that you can respect your space, your energy, your you, however that looks, and then you will not do anything other than demand respect from others.
And you don't even have to. It's not something, when you say demand respect from others, it's not something that you go out and you say, I want respect.
Oh, no.
It is. It's about your posture. It's about.
It is. You just
grow into this energy that will emanate from you that says, you know, I deserve better, and and it's inviting it in instead of it being something that's a continual repelling. And that's what we need. We need more women now more than ever to get to that place, and the sort of work that we would love to be doing in many countries. You know, I see some of the tales that we get through our healing hands with doTERRA. We've got a pink pepper story. You know, the woman who is harvesting our pink pepper is someone who had young kids. Her husband got killed, and she had to look after her kids, and it became she thought she was going to work, like she was getting a job, but they were actually selling her body, you know. And that's the kind of thing that you know, it's about empowering women. That's it. We want women to feel empowered and celebrated, and know that they don't have to be anything other than a woman.
Yes, to be them, to be yourself, to be your authentic self.
Because you know what? You're not your label. You're not your car.
No.
You're not your house. You're not your bank balance. You're not your kids. You're not
not your
any
job.
of that.
And
You
we
are
both learned
just-
about not being our jobs when we left jobs
Yeah.
and started our own businesses.
Yep. How attached to the title.
Oh, I
You know,
struggled for a good
and
12
that-
months, I think.
And that sort of, that's what you deem your worthiness on.
Yes, yes.
I'm that. Well, no, I'm not. I'm a soul. Like I'm here. I'm right here.
That's right.
And it
Absolutely.
doesn't matter about any of that other stuff. And that's,
Mm.
yeah, ideally, that's a program that we all need to be offering. We all need to be encouraging others. I'm doing
Absolutely.
some work on that at the moment, and I'm going to have a scholarship part of it into my coaching packages and into the 2-day workshops, just so that we can get more people, more women
Yep.
in to be able to do it. So,
And I
Yeah.
think the really important thing is, yes, we recognise some women out there that have done some incredible things. Oh my goodness, I'm ever so grateful for them. But there's also everyday women, every day doing incredible things.
yeah, that
Every
woman
day
who's
that
got
I
those kids
recognise.
and she's got depression and she gets out of bed every day.
Yes, that's incredible.
That's an
And
incredible
touche to
woman.
her.
Yeah,
She gets her children off to school, or she gets to her job, or she, just is there. I have a number of older friends that have chosen not to have children. Some didn't choose not to have children, and they're single women, and it can be a struggle for them, but that they are just doing them,
yeah,
and that's all you can do.
yeah.
And that's incredible.
It is
Doesn't matter
incredible.
where you are. Embrace who you are. Embrace your authentic self.
And be grateful for who you are.
Yes.
We spend
Yeah.
so much time looking over the fence because the grass is always greener, and there's always someone who's got a better life than us, and someone who's got a better bank balance than us, and someone who's got a better house or a better car or got a perfect life. Well, no,
Yes.
there is no perfect.
I read
There's
something
perfectly imperfect, but there's no
Yes.
perfect.
Yes. I read something really funny yesterday. Someone was saying, it was on social media, and I get on and do social media, but I don't spend hours on it. And I must admit, I went back, I scrolled, and I actually went back to it because it was talking about the importance of being yourself and not worrying about what everyone's showing you on social media, because 90% of those people aren't even living their truth. They're showing you their best pictures on their phone. They're showing you places where they've been, or they're lying about that as well. And then you all of a sudden start comparing yourself. Well, don't. What brings you joy? What makes you happy? What makes you have a belly laugh? That's what's important. Doesn't matter what somebody else is doing.
That's right. I know that even in our world, like we've got a bit of a campaign on at the moment, social media campaign on at the moment. I mean, there's all these homes that are being shot, they're the most beautiful, like pristine, where they've got nothing on the tables,
That's exactly
nothing on the
right.
shelves,
Yeah.
no shelves, no red
Yeah.
filing cabinet. They've just got this pristine bench top with this beautiful diffuser and these magnificently displayed oils. And I think, is that real?
Yeah.
Because you have a look at mine. Like, I've got shitloads of oils. I've got diffusers in every place in the house.
The same.
Surrounded by plants and the general stuff that we live with.
I know, right? Yep. Yep.
So-
And I'm not afraid to look. I mean, look at my Oracle cards, and that's, the desk is pretty clean at the moment. It's normally much worse, but it's actually pretty clean. But that's me. That's part of me. That's what gives me joy. That's what makes me happy.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't be explaining that to anybody. That's some of the real meanings of International Women's Day as well, like the freedom for us to express ourselves authentically.
Yeah. And know that comparison is a thief of joy.
Yeah, comparison's a killer.
So we just got to be satisfied, be
Yeah.
okay with who we are first and foremost.
And if
And
you're not,
you're not a tree.
that's
you're
right.
not-
I was just about to
You're
say
not
that.
you're not planted.
No.
So, so if something's, don't be so rigid.
Yeah.
Learn
Reach
to
out. Get someone
with
to
the
help
flow.
you.
Yeah.
Get someone to help you make the changes that you need to be the best version of you. If you're in a space where you're not loving it, well, what do you need to do to change it?
Yeah.
What do you need to do to start loving that space or a different space? Because you are a woman and you are powerful. Like, I just think of the Helen Reddy song, I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar.
Yeah.
I just loved her movie, like she did it tough.
Yep.
Anyone that's watched her movie, you'll see that and obviously that wasn't all of her life, but she certainly didn't get where she was by having it handed to her on a plate. She had to work hard for it. And I'm not saying we all have to work hard for things. I'm just saying that you have to work hard for as in you have to do what you want. You can't just sit there in a space that's not working for you and just wish yourself totally away from that. You do have to have some actions. What's your mindset? What's your plan? Where do you want to go? Do you even know where you want to go? Do you even know what your goals are? Maybe you've got to set some small goals.
Comes down to a couple of things. Choice. Life's about choices.
Absolutely.
Accepting those choices that you make or making different choices.
Yes.
And the other thing is that everything in life you have to contribute some energy to. A relationship, a job, an effort to, like it takes energy to make even the sustenance, like your meals and stuff. Like everything requires energy, and you've got to put some energy into it. Like you can't sit in a comparison if someone's got grander than you and think, oh, well, why can't I? When in actual fact you could.
That's negative for a start, isn't it? That's basically a judgment. You're judging yourself. You don't have it as much as them. So, I mean, that's already not a great state to be in. You've got to start looking at what you have and being grateful for what you have. It may not be what somebody else has got, but it's what you've got. Be grateful for that now.
Yep. So ditch the old comparison. Don't be looking over the fence because it's sometimes not even greener. What you're seeing as a facade, but know that if there's something that's appealing, set some goals, take some action, make some better choices, and and know that as a woman, you have got the ability. All it takes is that you need to build that confidence and create that posture. Have the respect for yourself and know that you're worthy and deserving of all the good things.
Absolutely. Knowing that you are enough, that you are beautiful. And, taking it back to Louise Hay, the very simple basics. It's free. Go and stand in the mirror and have a look into your eyes and tell yourself how awesome you are or how awesome you want to be.
So on International Women's Day, I now give myself the green light to go ahead. I joyously embrace the new.
I love it.
So on that note, I'm going to see you next week.
Okay. Take care. Big hugs.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to follow us on our socials. Drop us some comments. Let us know what you'd like to hear us have a chat about. As you can tell, we do sometimes have different things that we talk about and different ways of looking at things. And that's a good thing. That's a really good thing.
We're not the same. We're not the same.
If it's going to be something that, we might be able to shed both of our different light on subject, allow us to do so. So the best way is that you can drop a comment on our socials or send us a private message or a DM on YouTube as well. So we look forward to hearing from you and we look forward to seeing you next week. Bye for now.
Bye. Huge hugs. Take care. Be kind. And happy International Women's Day. Bye-bye.
Bye.